all naturalists and all naturalists and conservationists right from the tender age of 6 while yeah, okay, the recording has started. Okay. While I was busy eating mud at that age, Vikas observed the butterflies that mud puddled and the birds that danced around. So he got the Sanctuary Asia's Young Naturalist Award in 2014. Vikas has been working for more than 15 years with nature, focusing more on butterflies and birds. Recently, he started studying moths and the coastal life of North Tamil Nadu. He reviews eBird for Tamil Nadu and Uttarakhand, reviews the Indian Foundation of Butterflies, both of which are citizen science platforms, and is a Chennai City Butterfly Coordinator. His life as a student went beyond the four walls of the classroom and seeped through the betterment of the environment and society through his fieldwork doing surveys, campaigns, and other initiatives to protect India's wildlife and forests. Now, handing it over to our passionate naturalist Vikas to take us all through a virtual walk showing butterflies in Chennai.
Yeah, hi there. Are you able to hear me, or is there any echo?
It's clear. Your voice is clear.
It's clear. There's no echo, right? Because yeah, okay, cool.
No echo.
So, hi everybody. So today we'll be going through a couple of hotspots in Chennai, and I've put this on a perspective so that you guys can actually relate to what I'm talking about, and I'll go about that in more detail soon. So firstly, I think all of you are familiar with where you're familiar where Chennai is. Chennai is on the coastal belt of Tamil Nadu, and it's characterized by this particular habitat known as the tropical dry evergreen forest, which has a very unique character of always being green and on a plain setup. We normally associate evergreen forests with more wet areas, and I think all of us have a fair idea of how Chennai is. It's not the wettest of places, so it's very nice to have a forest which is always going to be green. Apart from that, we do have scrub forests and grasslands, and this coexistence of these three habitats has enabled Chennai to have a diversity of around 150 species. And today we'll be looking at some of those species. So in this map, which I presented, you can see that I marked a lot of places in and around Chennai. These are various hotspots I have been surveying over the last 5-6 years in Chennai. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the specifics of places where people can actually visit. So one of them, it's not a feedback I've received yet, but it's something I did a lot of introspection in. And I feel that a lot of places in Chennai, which unlike Bangalore, where if you want to go butterfly watch, you can go to Lal Bagh, you can go to a lot of places, Sarigata Lake, and they're all accessible places, and there's no one who's going to stop you from going there. That's not the case in Chennai. A lot of the places where butterflies are seen are pretty inaccessible to people. So I don't want to get in trouble and name those places and make them look like they're inaccessible to people. But I'm going to go ahead and show you where you can go without any permission, or even if you need to go with some amount of permission, how you go about it. So this is going to be more of a guided tour on how to get there also, because there's no point in you guys seeing something which you can't go to. So I'll be starting with the Uni Natural Park. So the Uni Natural Park is one of the most famous places to butterfly watch in Chennai. It is by far the most diverse spot. It has around 128 species of butterflies recorded there. And this is characterized by the tropical dry evergreen forest I was talking about, but it also has patches of grassland. Currently, I'm not sure because of COVID how the national park functions, but from what I remember, it is open to all age groups, and you have to go to the wildlife warden and request for permission. And normally the wildlife warden does give you permission after 2 to 3 days, and you can walk, I think, from 7 a.m. till about 10 a.m. There's a 3-hour window you're given to walk. And If you're going for butterflies, there are some really good patches. There is this patch known as Doctor's Road, which you should visit. And Doctor's Road is known for having butterfly mud puddling as well as caterpillars and eggs in that area, especially of common lime and common marmot. But apart from those, there are more interesting stuff which are found in the Green Natural Park, such as the common mime and the common albatross. So in this collage here, you can see the butterfly on the left-hand corner. That's a common mime. And this particular butterfly is only known to lay its eggs in Green National Park. It's not been seen laying its eggs or having a life cycle anywhere else in Chennai. And what's very interesting is around the time when we first saw it in Chennai, the butterfly was only known to lay its eggs on cinnamon trees, which are not normally found in our area. They're more of hill growing plants. So that was interesting, and that we found another host plant of this butterfly, which is for the plains area. Apart from the mime, there are a lot of other species of butterflies like the Judy and the blue marmot and large oak blue, which are seen in the national park. And these butterflies keep to more densely covered areas of the national park, such as Velachery Road. And you can also try parts of Body Road. And I'm giving these names of these places so that when you go there, normally when you go to the national park, you're provided with a forest guard who will be able to identify these roads by their names. So if you tell the forest guard, I want to go to this road, or this road, they'll be able to take you around. So don't feel disheartened if you can't get inside a national park, because it can be difficult at times because of COVID. So there's the other option of children's park, which is the smaller enclosed area where there are animals which are kept in cages. I'm not asking you to go and look at the animals. There are a lot of butterflies which come there because they have a beautiful array of nectaring plants, which give us. Sorry, I will not be going into the names in detail this time. I'm going to talk about the places, but sure, I will talk about I'll name the butterflies also this time. Yeah, sorry, I'll do that. So the children's park is extremely good in June and July, but you can visit it pretty much anytime. From June and July, there's a peak of emigrant and lime swallowtails. So in that time, you get a lot of these butterflies which come, and it's really beautiful to look. It's because there's this place, I think, near the Dole enclosure, where it just carpets butterflies. Like you'll have emigrants, you'll have marmots, you'll have lime swallowtails, you'll have gulls, and it's a really pretty sight to see butterflies just gliding their way along the ground, and then a lot of them on trees. It's a very, it's an emotion by itself. It's very difficult to quantify in words and say it in words. So some of the most characteristic butterflies which I've seen in this place, and what I've done in the presentation is to try and keep pictures of the butterfly from the place. So all these pictures are taken at Children's Park so that it's more relatable and you'll know what the habitat of that place looks like. So I'm going to go clockwise, starting from the skipper. Oh yeah, my screen, you can see my mouse, good. This is an African marble skipper. This is normally seen in some, grasslandish habitats, but if you have tridax flowers or any other yellow color flowers, they do get attracted easily. This is the striped tiger, which is often mistaken for the more popular monarch, which is found in the US, but the monarch is not found in India. So if you think you've seen a monarch, there's a good chance you actually saw the striped tiger, which looks very, very similar. This is a tiny grass bloom. This is the third smallest butterfly in our country. And this is a typical scene of like emigrants mud puddling at Children's Park. There will be more of them. It's just that when they carpet and you start walking, and Children's Park has a lot of people walking up and down, so they do take off. So this is the largest aggregation I was able to take a picture of at the national park, so at Children's Park. This is a painted lady, and this is a very interesting butterfly. This is one of the few migratory butterflies we get from that particular family, Nymphalidae. And this butterfly is extremely territorial. So if you see it in a place for, let's say, if someone sees it on day one, it's probably going to be there for at least a week in the same area. So there's a very good chance of resighting that butterfly in that particular area. And this is a plain cupid. This is very common in the children's park. You should not have any issues trying to spot it. So in the children's park, places to go, you can try the Dole enclosure. That area is pretty good. And near the warden's office, that section is pretty good too. And there's this margin of along the national park and the along the Guinea National Park and Children's Park, they share a common fence. If you walk along that border, you have a lot of butterflies which are found in that area. In fact, that's the best place to see the painted lady in that area. And this is one of my favorite butterflies, the spot swordtail. This is actually missing for the last 2 years in Chennai for reasons I really cannot explain. But it's normally seen between May to September. And before it suddenly vanished for the last 2 years, it was very, very abundant in 2019. We got 500 butterflies in like a walk, stuff like that. And it was a pretty unprecedented numbers, because I was getting numbers like 500 in a day, when before that, the cumulative numbers from 2014 to 2018 were just like probably 100 to 150. So it was a weird spike, and then it just disappeared. So here in Chennai, look out for this during June to September. I think the season now is over for this year, so keep an eye for it next year. And it likes the Adyar area a lot. That's where whenever it visits Chennai, its congregations are maximum, especially at the Guinea National Park and at Children's Park. This picture was taken in Children's Park in front of, I think, the one of the lovebirds enclosure. This is another very accessible place, the Nageshwara Rao Park. Actually, more than me, my birding friend, Rama Neelamegam, she does a lot of butterfly watching there, and she's the one who introduced me to this place. And it was a very nice setup inside the city to kind of get a feel of the butterfly diversity of a metropolitan city, instead of going to a forested area. Because community gardens are also very important, and people don't realize the importance of community gardens, because they give small pockets of greenery which allow butterflies to travel through these forested areas. So I can have a huge forest in one place, and then that's separated by 50 kilometers and another beautiful forest in set B. But unless I have these small communities which are going to, what is the best word to use, facilitate the butterflies to travel down them, it's going to be very difficult for intermigration, and you'll have a lot of roadkills. That's what happens, in fact, on the Bangalore to Chennai highway. A lot of butterflies travel every September, especially this butterfly, which is pictured here, the dark blue tiger, along with the blue tiger and some couple of striped tiger and the other butterfly pictured here, common crow. They all travel from Bangalore to Chennai. And because there are very few connective passages, they get hit on the road, on the Chennai Bangalore highway. These things happen, but that's why it's important that these kind of corridors, corridors are paved through. These kind of green corridors are paved through. And Nageshwara Rao Park is a very good example of that. You can go throughout the year, but it's always better after rains. And we have a generic problem in Chennai of being a dry place during summer. So it is very difficult to see butterflies then. In fact, I remember one year, the entire month of April, I think it was 2017, we only saw one emigrant. I did not see any other butterfly during that point. So some years can be very dry, some years can be pretty good also. So that's really depends on your luck and how things are in Chennai. But coming back to Nageshwara Rao Park, it's a good place to see common butterflies and start your butterflying interest and observe more common butterflies and spend time with the butterflies, because there are people who are walking. So butterflies have slowly started to get used to that movement of people, and There it's more of walkers, right? You don't have a lot of people running towards butterflies like in the children's park. So they've got a little accustomed to people in a more deliberate fashion. So you can observe butterflies well. This is a picture of the striped tiger again. This is a grass demon, which is a very local butterfly in Chennai. Wherever it is found, it is pretty common. And even in the places it's found, it's only found in certain belts. Like, for example, Nageshwara Rao Park, it's found exclusively near the bamboo clump. You won't find it outside that. And in Adyar Punga, it's found only in one specific part of the entrance. You will not find it anywhere else. It's a very funny butterfly. They're very territorial. They will not be seen anywhere outside of that zone. There's the dark blue tiger, which is a migratory butterfly. This is a common crow, and this is a chestnut bob. This chestnut bob is seen throughout the year in community gardens, but for some reason, in the Uni National Park alone, it's only seen in winters very commonly. You can see it otherwise, but its numbers peak in winter. I've never been able to figure out why. This is the Adyar Punga. So Adyar Punga is a place for, I would call it amateur people. So if you are a beginner, you should start with Nageshwara Rao Park so that you get familiar with common butterflies, and then you can come to Adyar Punga, where you can start seeing more of the slightly rarer butterflies and get more familiarized with them. Adyar Punga is another beautiful place to observe butterflies in a close proximity. And the pictures put here are this is a small salmon Arab. This is I would say this butterfly by far defines Adyar Punga. Nowhere else in Chennai will you see the small salmon Arab in the numbers you get in Adyar Punga. You will see like 50, sometimes even 100 of them. They are extremely common in Adyar Punga, and it's probably a combination of beautiful habitat for it, because Adyar Punga is a mixture of various types of restored habitats. You have a restored creek, you have mangroves which are coming up, you have small pockets of the tropical dry evergreen forest, some grassland. So because of this combination of restored habitats, I think that works well with this butterfly, because the small salmon Arab, unlike most other butterflies, is actually very coastal in nature in our region. Then there's this beautiful butterfly called the crimson tip. This butterfly normally shows up in June, July in Adyar Punga. And if you want to see the crimson tip outside the Adyar Punga, you can get it throughout the year in any of the larger water bodies we have in the outskirts of the city, like Chambarambakam or Tenneri, Ponneri, those kind of large lakes in the outskirts of the city. You should be able to see the crimson tip and any other type of orange tip, like the plain orange tip and small orange tip. This is the tricolor flat, which is by far the most common species of flat we have in Chennai. And a very interesting story I have about this. So I used to see this butterfly from 2014 to 2015 for almost a whole year. And I did not know what it was, because it would never sit. I would always see this butterfly just tornadoing its way down. It would look like a mini tornado going around. I never figured out that it was even a butterfly. I thought it was a moth for the longest time. And then I was walking in Adyar Punga one day, and then I saw this thing again flying like a tornado. And then you know how when you throw a magnet on a fridge, it just sticks. And then I saw this tornado just sticking on the leaf like that. And I was like, okay, let's see what this is. And voila, it was a tricolor flat. So that was interesting. And after that, I started seeing it more often. So you get the tricolor flat in Adyar Punga, in Uni Natural Park, and I've not covered it here, but there's another park which is accessible. It's called Semmodi Punga. So there also you can see the tricolor flat. This is another picture of the African marble skipper. This is with its wings open. And the Black Raja, which is a well sought after butterfly in Adyar Punga. It's pretty common though. During June and July, you get pretty high numbers. Like I've seen sometimes 15, 20 of them, but normally you see them in pairs at maximum. Seeing them in large groups is very difficult. For the Adyar Punga, just like the children's park, you will require an entrance ticket. And I think there's also a fee for taking pictures. The Wonderland Zoo is something I'm sure all of you are familiar with, but would have never associated with butterflies. There's in fact a very large butterfly garden at Mandalore Zoo, which is in a pretty good shape now. And you see a lot of species of butterflies. So all of these pictures are taken at the zoo. This is the Indian Sunbeam, which is a very pretty butterfly. The male has a bright red, reddish orange upper side, and the female has a grayish white upper side. So this is a female butterfly. This butterfly is, its presence indicates that you have a very good pungam tree population in that particular place, because this butterfly and the common cerulean, they like inhabiting such places. So if you have a nice shade place with these pungam trees, you're going to have a lot of these Indian sunbeams. This is the lime blue. I would say by far this is the most common species of licaniid we have in Chennai, which is licanids are basically these blue color small butterflies. You might have seen them flying close to the ground or near a tamarind tree or something like that. They are very common, and in fact, some years I remember once in, I think 2017, we had a lot of rains in June that year, and the next day when I went walking the Uni Natural Park, I think I went along with Bhanumati, that auntie that day. We saw around 2,000 to 3,000 of these lime blues all over the floor of the national park. It was amazing. Just you couldn't see the ground. You just kept seeing these butterflies walking along. That was really, really amazing. I've not had an experience like that after that, but it's possible for it to happen. So when those things happen, those are called Mars emergences. Yes, pungam is that's what pungam is. It's Melitia pinnata. Yeah. This is a lesser grass blue, which is also a pretty common species we find in Chennai, normally more in winter, but you do get it throughout the year. The yellow orange tip is one by far the most common species of orange tip we get in these forested areas, but it's slightly local. You cannot see a yellow orange tip anywhere you go compared to the other orange tips. The yellow orange tip is normally found in forested areas like in Indiranagar, then GNP, Wonderland Zoos, places like that. It's more forest requiring compared to your other orange tips like the crimson tip or the plain orange tip and small orange tip, which are slightly more widespread, but they're, what do I say? You won't see them in large groups, and they like being in grassland areas, which are offbeat, which people don't visit normally. This is a dynamic fly, which is again a pretty common species of butterfly you would have come across. And this is the male. The female actually tries and mimics the plain tiger. And this is the Anomalous Nawab. This is a cousin of the Black Raja. Very, very difficult to get in Chennai, but you only get it in Mandalore Zoo and in Uni Natural Park. It's rumored to be around Adyarpunga, so you can try your luck, but your best chances are at the Mandalore Zoo, where it is normally seen at the butterfly park. You can see it getting attracted to bird droppings or sometimes even rotten prawns. That also sometimes attracts these butterflies. They are normally not seen in flowers. They are attracted to a variety of other kinds of nutritive sources. The Madras Crocodile Bank. So MCBT, that's the short acronym I'm used to using. MCBT is a really beautiful place for butterflies because it's maintained in such a beautiful way. You need to have a particular amount of tree cover for some of the animals which are there at MCBT. Not animals, technically reptiles. Reptiles you have in MCBT. So because of that, they have a lot of humidity requirements, and you need to have a lot of water for crocodiles, and the shade cover along with the crocodiles creates this mini humid environment around the ECR, and the ECR as such is a pretty dry place. So this is like an oasis which is formed in the ECR. So it is and a beautiful place for butterfly watching, especially in September. And September is by far the best month. When I'm in Chennai, I always go in September to Crocodile Bank because of, so these are the butterflies I've seen during just the month, one day. All these pictures were taken just in one day. This is a three-spot grass yellow. I don't know why, but the three-spot grass yellow is only found in MCBT with some ease. Any other place in Chennai, it's very, very difficult to see it. I've only seen it once outside Madras Crocodile Bank. For some reason in Crocodile Bank, you get it pretty often. Then this is the common cerulean, pretty common butterfly throughout Chennai. This is a very fancy butterfly. It's called the narrow-banded blue bottle, or earlier used to be called as common blue bottle. It's now got split. The common blue bottle is now seen in northeast and the north of India, and the southern part is, I think the other name is the southern blue bottle for it. This species is normally associated with very, very wet forests. So in Chennai, we normally get it only after we have some very heavy rains, like in 2015. And I think we had a couple of heavy showers in 2017 too. So those are the 2 years where I saw blue bottles outside the Crocodile Bank. But if you want to see the blue bottle on a normal day without having any floods around you, MCPT is a very nice place. And the humidity, which I was talking about, right? That's a requirement for this butterfly. So normally you see it next to the mugger or the gharial enclosure. That's where I've actually, every time I go to Madras Crocodile Bank, I see the blue bottle flying there. And I can say for sure you cannot see it as commonly as you see it in Madras Crocodile Bank anywhere else on the Tamil Nadu plains belt, coastal plains belt, because it's not normally not associated with coastal plains. And in Crocodile Bank, for some reason, only in that one spot, it's pretty common. So that's interesting. You have a huge forest patch behind the Crocodile Bank, which is kept away which is where people are not allowed to go. And that area facilitates a huge congregation of dark blue tigers and blue tigers. So every September, around 500 to sometimes 600 butterflies come and roost in that area during their transit migration, which is again a beautiful sight to see. All you have to go to the gharial enclosure, and you'll start seeing like small swarms of like 20 butterflies, and then 30 butterflies, 40 butterflies just flying by you. It's a really nice thing to watch. They have a lot of this particular plant called Aristolochia, and because of that, that is a host plant for the crimson rose, as well as a beautiful, beautiful butterfly called the southern birdwing. So the southern birdwing is the largest butterfly in South India, and therefore the largest butterfly in the city. It's normally known to occur in the Western Ghats, and people have always associated it to be an endemic of the Western Ghats, which now has been proved to be false, and it's starting to expand its range and be found throughout South India. In fact, I think it's also found pretty often during September and Pondicherry recently now. So it's starting to conquer the plains area slowly. And I think even Kadalur has a pair right now. So the southern birdwing in Chennai can be seen in a lot of places now. Earlier, it used to be very restricted, but I would still say the best place to see the southern birdwing is Crocodile Bank. So you go to Crocodile Bank between May and September. I would ideally say August end, September start. That's the peak where you will get a lot of the birdwings. They are pretty much everywhere at that point. There are like probably 4 or 5 of them each year which turn up. They're pretty reliable to go and watch. The best place, I would say, viewing place in MCBT is again the gharial enclosure, but there's also this American alligator enclosure which has a lot of these different types. I'm not very good with plants, but there's these short shrubs which the birdwings like to come and sit on. And for some reason in Chennai, whenever I've seen a birdwing nectaring, it's always been nectaring on spider lilies. So they somehow like to be around spider lilies, and ECR is well known for having a lot of these spider lilies and these various kinds of ornamental plants. Then comes Mangalam Quarry. For those who are not familiar with this place, this is very close to Manimangalam Lake, and it's near the Orangadam area, basically. So I've just given one example of that place, but there are a lot of different dry habitat places which are there in Chennai. The problem is not a lot of them are safe because of a lot of I would say illegal activities which happen in those kind of places. So I would not venture to a lot of them. So the safest option here would be Mangalam Quarry. Even when you go here, I would suggest that you go in a group of like 5 to 10 people. That would be nice. This area is characterized by small hillocks which are bare and have a lot of scrub vegetation, basically. The butterflies you see in this area are this is the smallest butterfly in the country. This is the Oriental grass jewel. You get the double branded crow. You also get the plain orange tip there. You get the common gull there. And one of the most common skippers we have in Chennai, the gray swift, which is scientifically called Parnara bada, which is a pretty disputed species because you need general examination to confirm it. So I normally just leave it as Parnara SP, but now I think there's a recent study which is done to confirm that the southern population could be Parnara bada. Then for a grassland setup, I would suggest Nemam Lake. Nemam Lake is, I think, in Tiruvallur district. It's a very, very open, accessible place. You have a lot of butterflies almost all the time there. And the thing with grassland habitats, though, is because they always have a lot of butterflies, it's always a trade-off, right? You either see a lot of something and have less diversity, or you have a lot of diversity and see less of it. So here you don't get a lot of different types of species, but you'll see a lot of butterflies in general, like the common pedo, the rice swift, lemon pansy, tawny coaster, white orange tip, joker, Indian skipper, and the gram blue. So there are two aspects of butterfly watching. You want to see stuff and you also want to report what you've seen. So you can report what you have seen on these two platforms. One is iNaturalist and another is I Found Butterflies. I Found Butterflies is a beautiful website where you can upload all kinds of pictures you've taken. And iNaturalist is more open to various forms of life. You can take pictures of butterflies, you can take pictures of plants, snakes, whatever you're interested in, and upload an iNaturalist. If you're uploading an iNaturalist, I would invite you to join the Biodiversity of Chennai page, where we are doing a lot of work in citizen science collaboration and trying to get more people involved to know what's around them. As of now, we have around more than 3,000 species which we have recorded in Chennai and around 26,000 observations, which is a very big deal. And this is also a pretty good place for you to, what do I say, in quotes, stock what other people are seeing in Chennai. You can use the explore option, go to Chennai and then put butterflies, and then you can be like, okay, someone's seen this here. I want to go and check that out. So that's another place. That's another way of figuring out what is seen where. And you can check out our butterfly bingo, which is, I think, on Instagram, and you can tag us on Instagram, go on a butterfly walk and try and see how many we can get. And please do tag us on Instagram. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me now. And these are various ways of contacting me. I will be opening the floor to questions now.
So yeah, if anyone has any questions, you can put it down in the chat and then we'll read it out to Vikas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can either put it on the chat box or you can raise your hands and we'll unmute you so that you can ask him directly as well.
What was the plant for the common mine? I'm not. I'll have to check and get back to you on that, because we did identify it, but then when I checked with the plant expert, they said no, that particular plant is normally not seen in Chennai. So are you sure about it? So I have to get that validated. I'll get back to you on that.
I think Abhishek has his hand up now.
Yeah.
So Abhishek, can you go ahead?
Yeah.
Abhishek shall, yeah, you can ask.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Yes. We can hear you.
Yeah. I have one question about butterfly migration.
Yeah.
So I read one article about butterfly migration in North America.
Okay.
Uh, so in that article, they wrote that they use hydrogen isotopes which are present on butterfly wings, and they use that isotopes for detect how butterfly travels and how much distance they walk through towards migration point. And what about India? What are the concepts and what are the that as compared to North America, they use hydrogen isotopes. What are things they use in India about butterfly migration?
That's a great question to ask. So there are two main techniques we use in India right now, because we don't have a lot of infrastructure. So the first technique we use is citizen science based observations. So I'm in Chennai. I see 30, let's say, crimson roses, 30 crimson roses heading south every minute. So I'm seeing that particular flow rate of butterflies. Technically, I'm assuming it to be a flow rate. I am seeing a lot of these butterflies going this particular direction. They're going south. And I will contact someone in Pondicherry. They will also confirm, yeah, I'm also seeing around 20 heading south. And then the person Nagapattinam will be like, yeah, I see a lot of congregation in Nagapattinam of butterflies. So it's that kind of tracking we can do, because we don't have this kind of technology available for us in India. So that's one way of going ahead. A second, which is used by scientists, is tagging the sense string tagging, which is I don't think is possible to find the butterfly again. So we kind of go naturalists. Most of us go on this method of trying to have more contacts along the butterfly migration belt, so that we can see this particular flow rate and how the butterflies flow through our regions. So it's difficult to track a particular butterfly, so we take the whole void as such. There are a couple of comments here, so I'll just address these. Do you conduct butterfly walks, and if so, when? Unfortunately, right now I'm in the US, so I will not be able to conduct any butterfly walks now, but I'm sure YNN will be doing a lot of butterfly walks once things get better with COVID. And those will be, I think, conducted. If things go well with COVID, probably winter, you'll be able to do stuff. I have seen moth pupae under soil. Do butterflies do that too? Yes, that's a very interesting question. So some butterflies go through this phase called diapause. If the conditions are not suitable, they do lay their eggs under the ground. And I've seen there's this butterfly called the common banded owl. I've seen it lay its eggs inside the soil. What's the second smallest butterfly in India? From my memory, I think it's the African grass jewel. I'm not sure what the other name is. There are two names for it. I think just grass jewel is the other name. That's the second smallest butterfly. It's the Oriental grass jewel is the smallest. African grass jewel is the second smallest, and third smallest is the tiny grass blue. Is there any place in Chennai where we can see the little tiger blue commonly? No, little tiger blue is rare. It's rare everywhere, unfortunately. In fact, I think there are only 3-4 records of it in Chennai, including yours. So, what's the rarest butterfly in India? That's a tough one. The rare, it depends where in India. So, for example, a butterfly like the tawny coaster, which is extremely common for us in Chennai, would be very rare in somewhere else in the Northeast. So it mainly depends on where you are geographically to define what is rare or not rare. And if you're going to ask me with respect to Chennai, there are a lot of butterflies I've only seen once or twice and have never been recorded after that. So all of them I would consider as rare. Yeah, although it's exciting to see the southern birding outside its usual range, is this shift in range worrying in any way? I wouldn't say, I hope not. I hope not. But considering that the southern birdwing always is associated with wet forest, which I would say, if I don't want to get ahead of myself because there's not been any scientific study on this, but maybe there's a chain of ecological succession happening in our forests here, which are positive and are allowing the southern birdwing to be, which are allowing it to be there and more viable populations to be there. So maybe it's a positive thing. That's how I would like to look at it. But I'm not an ecologist. I've not been trained in that fashion, so I'm not very sure. Any heads up on did they finally decide the national butterfly? No, I don't think that has been decided. I don't think that's been decided. Is there a hack for IDing lichens? Well, you can tag me when you see a lichanid, and I will try and give the most easiest way to identify them. The trick I would use is to go on I Found Butterflies or iNaturalist and first figure out what species are there in your region. So when you know this is a sample size I'm dealing with, then you'll be familiar yourself with that. But there are still some species in blues and swifts which are going to be a little difficult. And as Kalpana ma'am just said, yeah, swifts are a little difficult. So they are also pretty difficult. Piros and swifts are, whenever I get kind questions on piros and swifts, I'm very careful. So it's always better to familiarize yourself in the field, because as you can see 100 pictures on Google. When you see the butterfly in person, it's completely different experience, as all of you would know. The butterfly has to have its wing open. I'm sure all of you have asked me for IDs, and I've asked you, I want a wing open, I want the wing closed. And I know a lot of you get upset with that, but it's very difficult for me to identify with just the wing closed and just the wing open. So these kind of angles, they help a lot. So those kind of techniques will probably help you in identifying them more. I have heard that butterfly wings are transparent. Is this a myth? Butterfly wings are not transparent in India. I don't think we have any butterfly except for dragon tails in the Northeast, which have like translucent wings. I don't think we have translucent or transparent wing butterflies.
Yeah, just a minute. We'd like to introduce another event that we're conducting right now. So we have another member from the outreach team, Bala. Would you like to go ahead? This will be quite interesting, and you can actually participate in this event yourself. So please do this.
I hope I'm audible. We have a small event that's happening starting tomorrow. It's a bio blitz that we're doing on iNaturalist focused on butterflies, since it's the butterfly month that's happening in September in India. So this is starting tomorrow. You guys can join the link. I'll send this in chat. You simply need to come here and click on. You'll see a join button here. I don't see it here, but yeah, you'll see a join button. You can simply join and start uploading pictures of butterflies that you take starting tomorrow. The person with the most number of observations will get a prize from YNet. And this will again hopefully help you guys get started with butterfly IDs. And the INAT is a very good community to get started with learning and getting help from other folks. Please do join and participate as much as possible. Thanks.
And in addition to that competition, we're also conducting a photography competition right now. The theme is the life cycle of the butterfly, and you can get in touch with us for more detailed rules. But basically, you can send us your pictures via email, or you can post them on Instagram and tag us. So we'll be sending you an email about that as well. So please do check it out. Yeah, sorry, Vikas. You can go ahead with questions. Sorry.
You have
Yeah,
one.
does anyone have any other questions?
There's one more question in chat.
Oh, there's another question. Oh, which is the butterfly that has a large wingspan and is bluish black spotted around eucalyptus trees? Eucalyptus tree butterfly. That itself is pretty odd. I've never seen a butterfly on a eucalyptus tree. Bluish black. So big. Is it big? If it's a big butterfly, I would say probably a blue marmot flying fast. If it's a small butterfly, big, and then could be a blue marmot. There's a good chance it's a blue marmot. I think if it's big, then could be a blue marmot. Any other questions? So I don't think there are any other. There is. Do butterflies sleep? Yes, they do roost. So you see a lot of butterflies coming to trees, and under the trees they can roost under leaves. Slightly larger butterflies like the crows and tigers, they congregate together. So when they are migrating, they congregate together in locations which have a lot of shade, and they rest there. So yeah, butterflies do rest. I don't know if they sleep, but they rest, and so we leave it at rest. Yeah. Do butterflies bite? This is a weird question. No. It's not a weird question. It's fine. Butterflies, they can't bite because they don't have those kind of specialized organs. But you might have seen pictures of butterflies sitting on people. So basically, they are taking the sweat out of you because those salts are important for their reproductive processes. So I wouldn't say they bite, but they sit on you and extract stuff from you. Not like a mosquito though. They're not going to bore into your skin. Everything is superficial. Yeah. I have never seen jays stop fluttering their wings. Do they? Yeah. I've seen a lot of common jays sitting with their wings open. You need to try early in the morning. And for tail jay, the trick is to waste a whole day standing next to a false ashoka tree, hoping that at one point it will sit down. I'm new to the entire community, but as a beginner, how do I identify butterflies? Like if I'm teaching a kid, how will I help them to identify? So there are a few steps you go in. First, you need to see on iNaturalist or places like that, what do you find around your place, common species? Second step would be to try and see if there are any online material, like online posters for like species. I think I will be making some material soon available, which would have like the common butterflies of Chennai, something which maybe I could work on that so that people will find that more easier. And iNaturalist is really good. I keep stressing on that because when I did coastal work, I learned a lot of my species only looking at other people's observations and seeing where they saw it, when they saw it. So iNaturalist helps a lot. And apart from that, you could invest in a butterfly book. Isaac Kehemker's book is very good. And that's a pretty good book to invest in. And if you're working with kids, take them to Children's Park. Let them show you butterflies. That's the best technique with when I go with kids. Let them show what they are interested in, what they want to see. And then you take a picture and then you can send it to me, or you could put it on iNat and someone will be able to identify for you. Or if you have any online resource, you look with the kid at the butterfly and on the resource. Kids love seeing in real life what they are seeing on the phone or on a book. So that helps a lot with kids. Yeah. Yeah, so if that's it, I think we can wrap up if there are no other questions. Yeah. Aditya or Anuja?
Right. So, I mean, we still have 4 minutes left. So, if you want to ask a question, please do go ahead. But pending that, I'd like to thank everyone for joining, and obviously, I'd like to thank Vikas for conducting the session. And I mean, he's in America right now, so the time difference was also a bit of a problem for him. So, thank you a lot, Vikas, for doing this, and thank you everyone for joining. We'll be sending you a feedback form and this link for the iNaturalist project. So, please do join. And I think there's one more question from Suresh TV. So, because
Is there a community WhatsApp? We don't have, I mean, there's no WhatsApp group, but you could always ping us on, I think we have I think you can ping me on Insta or wherever I'm more available, because this now in America, there's so much social media. I don't know which app I use. So Instagram is the best place to catch me, Insta and Twitter. So yeah.
I have sent Vikas' Instagram link on the chat.
Yeah. Thanks, Anuja.
Okay. Unless anyone have any doubts, you can leave. We'll be here in the meeting till 7:30. Thank you all for joining. We hope you have fun. You had fun, and we'll be sending you a mail. Yeah, Abhi has already mentioned. Please do fill in the feedback forms. It will mean a lot to us. Thank you.
I have posted our Instagram and Facebook pages in case you are interested. Please do check them out for future updates on our events. I think stop. We can stop recording.